Welcome back, everybody. The question for today is, why should every man be doing NoFap? Too many of you are watching really intense or even hyper intense porn, and then when you're with that real person, your brain can't handle real sex. You get in bed with someone and you can't get aroused, and you may even feel a little uninterested. You're just not getting that, that that you get from porn, which is an unnatural high anyway. Knowing what we know about testosterone and dopamine, we seriously have to ask what porn and masturbation are doing to the brain. We all know that after an ejaculation, I've said this in other videos. If you guys have watched my videos, you've heard this before. Your prolactin is spiking, your testosterone is being suppressed, your dopamine has receded because you've just ejaculated, your serotonin is just obliterated, so you get that little brain fog thing going on where you just can't seem to think, you just can't seem to wrap your mind around everything. Everyone is different, but porn and masturbation seriously affect a man's ability to interact in a real romantic relationship. The whole point is that I'm trying to show all of you that there is a better way of living as a man. Porn and masturbation create an unnaturally high level of dopamine that it just overwhelms the brain's ability to cope. Or in the case of edging, not only was I really unnaturally high on dopamine, but I was at that level for an extended period of time. And just as dopamine is released in response to a stressor, like say you win a sporting event, or you achieve something that you didn't expect to achieve and you did, and you get this high from it. If it's too much of a release, think of it as a balloon. The higher it floats up, the further it has to fall eventually when it does. So this is what we're setting ourselves up for, guys. We're pushing ourselves up too high, and then when we have that drop, we don't like looking down. So after a rush of dopamine, we need time to reset. Some people actually compensate by seeking out more dopamine just to get back to the high that they were enjoying. It's so liberating to be away from that now, to be able to do other things, like, for instance, what I'm doing right now, making YouTube videos, trying to help men out there get away from this PMO addiction. And pornography presents another problem. When we get turned on by watching other people having sex, we're seeing sex from an angle that we wouldn't be able to see if we were actually having sex. So we're getting used to something that we're not supposed to get used to. And then when we're with a real person, we no longer can get turned on. So as I said in a previous video about working out and having to up the intensity in order to create more growth and results in the gym, remember, the more we get used to a high level of dopamine, the higher we're going to have to go in order to get that same level of satisfaction. And that means the further we're going to have to drop when that high ends. And something that some of you may have noticed is that drop, it doesn't go down to like bare minimum, the baseline. If we're high up here and this is our baseline, when we go to drop off of that high, we're actually going to go below baseline. And when you get to this actually, you've gone from an unnaturally high level to an unnaturally low level, you start getting these feelings of shame and guilt and depression. So the way to reboot your brain to a normal baseline of dopamine is to stop adding more dopamine. Just like, say you're in a hot air balloon. The way to actually have the balloon on the ground is to stop adding more helium so that it goes even higher. So if what I've said about the super highs of dopamine and the super lows of the crashes sounds a little scary to you and sounds like a drug addiction, well, that's because that's what it is. Your porn addiction and your masturbation addiction and even your sex addiction, it's going to cause the same level of damage to your brain that heroin does. So, as men, if you can't get aroused by a real woman and be satisfied with that, then you have a porn and masturbation addiction. It's an artificial sexual stimulant. So now I'm hoping if you've watched the video to this point, you can see why every man should be on NoFap. And not just for 30 days or 60 days or I'm going to do my 90 days and I'm cured. No, you've got to be on NoFap as a lifestyle. So I'd like everyone to leave a comment below about what you have done to return to a normal baseline of dopamine. We can all learn from and help each other. So I'll catch all of you in the next video. Peace.